Don't ask me to talk.
From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Join me, Stacey Heller,
And me, Eric Ryder.
as we talk about what's good to watch, read, see, listen to, and more.
An edutaining 1-hour break in your day that includes the segment, What Are We Eating? Sponsored by Dingfelder's Delicatessen.
Stick with us for something good. Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I am your host, Stacey Heller, joined, of course.
Hey, I'm your co-host, Eric Ryder.
There we go. So our show is a distraction from all that stuff that, you may be listening to at work or at home or on the radio or on the news. We consume a lot of negative. So we want to put some positive out into the world. And so...
And just some fun as well.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This is the light side of things. So that's the idea behind this show. Thanks to everyone that listens. Feel free to share the show. You can actually listen to it as a podcast. So let's say, especially as school starts, you're used to being able to listen to the show, but now the kids are going to be busting through the door and you don't have the time. No problem. We've got you. You can listen to Don't Ask Me to Talk wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's right.
Easy, right? Look at us. We're problem solvers. So remember, if you would like to connect with us, you can text or you can call and leave a voicemail at 475-999-2726.
Or 475-999-ARC6. That's ARC6.
Well done. I mean, again, we keep changing it.
That's right.
But I mean...
One of these will stick in people's brains.
Exactly. It would be great, Eric, if we heard from people that listen to the show and just let us know what's the one that is resonating with you.
Right.
That would be so helpful. Are you ready to talk about ridiculous holidays?
I am. And what did we decide this segment was called? It's our holidays.
Yes. Holidays
with a Z.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was thinking as
High holidays.
Oh, high holidays.
That's right.
And then I was thinking about how at the beginning of the show, our intro talks about how we talk about everything from the ridiculous to the sublime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this falls right in there.
Absolutely. Definitely in the ridiculous part.
Right? So, I mean, these are sort of some ridiculous holidays. However, who doesn't want to know these things? And today is kind of a trifecta of goodness. So I'm going to start with, today is National Whiskey Sour Day. Now, here's the deal with whiskey sours. I was introduced to them through marriage, much like I was introduced to the Yankees. It was part of the fine print of my marital contract. And at every Thanksgiving, my father-in-law would make these whiskey sours with Canadian Club and orange juice and lemonade in the blender. And I never really got into them. And then we moved out here to the Seattle area from the East Coast, and we had to start recreating our Thanksgivings away from family. So Pete started making whiskey sours, and then I got into them. And I will tell you, we always do this event on Thanksgiving called Soup and Sours. We make a big pot, because I'm so thematic. I mean, I'm a theme girl. So we do a big pot of soup, butternut squash soup with a lovely little crostini on top with some Gruyere. Anyway, and we serve whiskey sours. Well, we have improved/ruined many a Thanksgiving because while we warn guests not to have too many whiskey sours, sometimes they do. And it's the kind of drink, at least the way we make it, that it creeps up on you. And then before you know it, you're taking a 2-hour nap on the couch.
I'm not sure if I've ever had a whiskey sour. I'm not a big whiskey guy, so I had to look it up. And here's a simple recipe for a whiskey sour in case you're like me and you no clue, but you still want to celebrate the day. It's 2 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 ounce fresh lemon juice, 3/4 ounce simple syrup, and 1/2 orange wheel for serving, and or maraschino cherry?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
here's why the cherry is important in our family.
And by the way, a cocktail shaker, you put all those in and some ice, shake it vigorously until the shaker is very cold, about 20 seconds, and then you strain it and serve it.
Yes.
So why is the cherry important?
The cherry is important because the cherry helps you keep track of how many of the drinks that you've had.
When you see the stems left?
Yes. So our recipe, and I will share it on social media so that people can get the recipe.
Is it close to the one I just gave?
It is similar, but we do it in a blender. So this is like,
Smart.
we do a 12-ounce can of frozen lemonade that you slightly defrost.
Okay, so instead of the lemon juice.
Yep.
Sure.
We do 24 ounces or 2 cans of whiskey. We use Canadian Club. It is 12-ounce can of water, and then it is about a tablespoon or so of orange juice from, like, use the same frozen orange juice. Put it all in a blender, add a cherry, drink and enjoy.
Very good.
And drink responsibly.
Yes.
So,
Well, it sounds good no matter what you do. Of course, as you said, drink responsibly. I apparently have not been because I can't talk here to give out
Right?
this recipe. But
exactly.
but yeah, it sounds like fun.
It is fun. And I will post the recipe on our show page. So check out the Stacy Connects podcast Instagram page, and I will put it on the story. And then I have some archived things at the top of the page, including recipes, because Vance has shared some recipes with us in the past.
Yeah.
And so I put those recipes there. Okay. The other thing that today is Burger Day, National Burger
Ooh.
Day. I
Love a good burger.
love a good burger. It is, I'm a fan. I'm eager to talk to Vance about burgers. At the deli, they don't really make a burger. Typically at a deli, they don't serve burgers.
I got a feeling that Vance is a burger fan, though.
I mean, come on. Like, Vance is, he's just a fan of food. And,
Yes.
and I know that Nourish Catering serves burgers because I have had his sliders multiple times, and they are unbelievable. It's like 4 bites of yum.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So, and burgers were invented in Connecticut. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I feel like there's a lot of dispute about where the burger was invented. So,
There is.
well, if you watch enough of the Food That Built America, I think you may disagree.
Well, okay, that's fair. I mean, it's amazing the history if you decide to, like, live in the echo chamber of, like, but that's what they say. You're right. There's probably more to the story, but kind of like how ice cream cones were not because some guy, like, you know, tripped and his ice cream fell on the waffle maker.
Right.
I suppose there's more to the story, but I had always heard that they were kind of started or coined at a place in, I think, Hartford, Connecticut. But I may be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's quite a few places that claim to be the birthplace of the burger, but that just goes to show just how popular it is and how ubiquitous that it's become.
Oh, and watching different shows, going to different restaurants, seeing all the different takes on a burger. I mean, it's really cool to see what people do. And
It's crazy to think that there was a time before the burger existed. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, nobody came up with pressing some ground beef and grilling it, you know, and putting it on a bun. You know, and it's amazing to think there was a time before the sandwich. You know what I mean?
This is true.
It's just like we take these things for granted, and yet at one point somebody had to, like, you know, experiment and come up with the perfect combo. And now it is, you know, like you said, every single place on the planet essentially has a burger. Probably even vegan places now with the Impossible Burgers.
Right.
You know?
And there's I mean, and they have made so much headway. And people eat even like a portobello mushroom and they'll do it like it's a burger.
Yeah.
there's so many different things that you can do. And there's like bison burgers and buffalo burgers and, I don't know, everything. So I'm pretty excited about Burger Day. And I know that by the end of the show today, I'm going to be more starving than usual.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking burgers with Vance, I can only imagine.
I know. He's going to start talking about like the toppings he likes and like all the things. Yeah. So
let me ask you, are you, and I imagine with, the high holidays, there's probably a separate holiday for this. So forgive me if we end up retreading this. But are you a cheeseburger person or just a regular burger person?
I'm a cheeseburger person.
I am definitely a cheeseburger person too.
Yeah.
Like for me, a burger without cheese it doesn't seem complete.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And okay, are you mayonnaise on the burger?
Definitely.
Oh yeah, see? Mayonnaise and ketchup. I'm not a mustard person.
I love mustard on my burgers.
A lot of people do, but it's funny. It's such a throwback to my childhood where I was always like, ew, mustard, I don't like it. And so now I might like it. My taste buds have maybe changed, but I'm just so like, nope, no mustard. So one of these days, maybe I'll try it again.
So do you have a favorite? It's really hard to beat like a home grilled burger, but do you have a favorite burger from a restaurant in the area or in the country? I mean, you travel quite a bit. Is there like Connecticut has the best burger in the world, or?
I don't know that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue we've talked about the whole pizza thing before, like East Coast versus West Coast. And I'm like, oh yeah, East Coast. I think I really appreciate the fact that people all have different places, regions, restaurants have a take on their burger.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the burger that never disappoints, and maybe it's because I'm traveling and it reminds me of home, is a Shake Shack burger.
Mm.
Like they're in airports, so it's typically like.
No, I still haven't tried them, but they're extremely popular. The places that they exist, for sure.
Yep. And so I really like that. And I will also say, shout out to Wendy's because my mother is a huge fan of Wendy's. I mean, to the point where she's there like twice a week. The guy at her local Wendy's is like, I need to offer you a job. And I was always like, haha, Wendy's, whatever. I'll tell you what, they got a good burger.
Yeah.
I mean, like the lettuce is crisp, the cheese is melted. I mean, it's actually a really fresh tasting burger for a fast food place. But otherwise, I do like exploring. My two sons, they like going to burger places and trying different things and variations. And so, that's that. What about you?
When I was growing up, I was all about the Whopper. And I still think that's a great, fast food burger. But now, of course, living up here, I'm all about the Dick's burger. Yeah. I think just because they just do it right and they do it right every time. And it's great as far as a fast food burger goes. And, In-N-Out, I would say, is at least as good as for a fast food burger. So if I'm in L.A., I usually stop in and get an In-N-Out. And, of course, they're all over the West Coast now, but not up here.
I know.
But they are really good. And for something a little more elevated, I like Unita Burger in Fremont. I think that's, one of the best slightly deluxe burger places that there is. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have to check out that one. You said it's in where?
Fremont.
All right. I'm going to check it out. And you're right about In-N-Out. I would say that In-N-Out and Shake Shack, to me, same satisfaction level. For sure. And a Whopper, never got into a Whopper. But I respect it.
I mean, for me, just like of all the fast food burgers, it was like everybody seemed like was like a Big Mac fan, which I never understood because it was like an extra bun. When I'm having a burger, I've never thought I really wish this had more bun.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what this burger needs?
Right.
This burger needs more bun.
But lettuce, tomato, pickle. For me, that's what you need on a burger for sure.
Yeah. All right. I respect it. Okay. The last holidays that we're going to celebrate today. And this one is kind of cool. All the kids are doing it. It's hip and happening. Secondhand Wardrobe Day.
That's right. When you've had too many burgers and you need to expand your wardrobe and expand your waistline.
Right.
Then Secondhand Wardrobe Day. Perfect.
Right?
So that means hit your favorite thrift store, I guess.
Yeah. So it is,
Or
I
look
guess.
online for used
and
clothing deals.
There's so many. I guess this holiday was created with the idea of the environment and, reuse, recycle, upcycling, and, realizing that like fast fashion is not great for the environment on a bunch of different levels. And so it's about, especially as we're heading, in a month or so here into fall, instead of just throwing away the clothes that maybe your kids have grown out of or you've grown out of because you've had too many burgers, the ones that are still serviceable, donating them to a local thrift shop or to, someplace that people are in need of clothes, or if they're in really good shape, there are so many different consignment shops. And, honestly, I consign some of my clothes and I make a decent amount of money doing it. And I typically just end up spending it right back at the consignment store. And so, it all washes out. And it's a great way to know that you're going to be making a little money and also cleaning out your closet. And then it's also helping people. It's a good deal. And so many people have so many clothes. Are you a thrifter at all?
I don't typically go to thrift stores to buy clothes, but I do buy, secondhand items like from eBay or Poshmark or places like that online quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I never used to. I didn't grow up doing it. And I have come to appreciate it, especially, frankly, more deluxe items, clothing items that, like a handbag that I would never spend the kind of money that they go for in full retail. And yet it's like, ooh, I can carry this bag. It's in great shape. Because let's face it, the people that can afford the bag at retail, they probably have a bunch more like it and they're treating it pretty well. And other clothes. And there's so many great things out there where you can, find a consignment item so that if you're looking for a prom dress and you need a steal or a homecoming dress or something for a wedding, there's a lot of really good options out there. So it's for the environment. So, if you need to go thrifting, remember it's to leave less of a carbon footprint.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just about carbon. I mean, it's actually shocking the environmental footprint of the fashion industry on the world. I mean, there's a whole lot of pollution that you wouldn't even think about, inks and dyes and stuff, seeping into water and stuff. And of course, we try and keep it positive, and this is the fun show. So I won't go into all of that, but it does have a big environmental footprint that, if you can reduce your fast fashion and, try and keep things for a little bit longer period of time, or, if you're always into changing it up, then, secondhand for sure can be very beneficial for everybody. Yeah.
And there's a trend right now that's going on out there, at least for 3 of my kids, 3 of the 4. They're all really into thrifting anyway. Like my son is sporting these random ironic T-shirts that's like Bill for sheriff. I'm like, who's Bill? He's like, I don't know. And then, like happily married for 30 years. And I'm like, dude, I've been happily married for 30 years. So
give me that shirt.
So give me the shirt. It wouldn't fit. So there's, that. And then the things that they find and that they enjoy, it's kind of cool seeing them rediscover some of this stuff. And the fact that they're doing it because it's fun, it's cheap, they don't have the money to do it. And they recognize the benefit, and they're so much more aware of the environmental impact that they have on the world than any of us were. But, again, to quote Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. So now you know. So here's the deal. Make yourself a whiskey sour once you get home. Fire up the grill, have a good burger, or order one in from a local restaurant, and go through your closet and see what things you can maybe get rid of and drop off to either a charity or to a thrift store.
I like it.
So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we'll actually talk about what today's topic is, which is Spider-Man versus Superman. Think.
Ooh, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep
Can't
listening.
wait.
Stacy Connects. It's not just my business, it's my superpower. Whether you need the right tone and messaging for a new venture, or you've plateaued with your current one, I can help. I connect clients with themselves and their potential. Then, I identify unique solutions that translate your brand into messaging that connects your target audience with your business. Go to stacyconnects.com to connect with me and your messaging.
Interested in learning something new? Meeting someone new? Find out things that we have in common? Well, of course you are. You're a human being. So let's get intentional about it. Join me, JDK Winnikin, every week and get all of that in less than an hour. I'm a writer, a historian, a social commentator, and my show is all about you. Really, that's what it's called. This show is all about you. Get my perspectives on the week's news and hear fascinating guests whose stories will inspire and move you. My show is all about giving you something that connects us. Join me Mondays on Kixie 880 at 3 p.m. or download it as a podcast.
Can't get enough of Stacy and Eric? Then be sure and check out Stacy Connects with Stacy Heller wherever you find podcasts. Stacy chats with guests about a variety of topics, hoping to make a connection through conversation.
Don't ask me to talk. Welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Stacy Heller, joined, of course, by my co-host.
Hey, it's me, Eric Ryder.
So today's topic that we're talking about is something that is very important. Yes, it is not War and Peace, but is it? It's Spider-Man versus Superman.
Yeah, Spider-Man v. Superman. And, of all the recent controversial Supreme Court rulings, I got to say, this one really
Right?
shocked me.
I mean, I agree with you entirely. So we didn't really talk about, if our angle was from the comic books, which of course is where they originated.
That's true. You came up with this topic.
I
So
did.
What was your thinking behind that?
So I feel like
Aside from I need to fill a wheel with some words.
there was that. I feel like people are a fan of one or the other. And I notice that when it comes to superheroes, and especially those two, that you're either a Superman fan or a Spider-Man fan. And I don't know if that's true. I don't dabble at Comic-Con and I don't hang out in necessarily
I feel like it's more you're either a Marvel fan or you're a DC fan. And Spider-Man is maybe the best known Marvel character, and Superman still maybe the best known DC character.
So see, you're bringing in the element that I wasn't thinking of in terms of Marvel versus DC. Now, the comic books, maybe you know some of this stuff because I don't know these things. My brother he collected both. I think Superman edged out Spider-Man for him in terms of which he preferred. Because he kind of liked I don't know why I think Superman feels more science fiction-y or outer spacey than Spider-Man, because goodness knows that the villains in the Spider-Man comics and movies, etc., are out there.
Superman came from space, and Spider-Man, came from New York. So I can see right off the bat where you're coming from there. Yeah.
So
slightly more science fiction, but I mean, both are really just fantasy stuff. Yeah.
Totally. So I grew up with him collecting the comic books, and that was always an interesting thing to see. And the fact that there is so much material with origin stories and these characters that has stayed still so relevant from all these years later, that has created these massive blockbuster movies and all the different iterations. I mean, I think about the Marvel Universe and, specifically, and the TV shows that, have come out that they've, fleshed out some of the maybe not lesser characters, but the ones that maybe they're ramping up more awareness about. It's very strategic. It's very interesting to me. Did you read comic books when you were a kid?
I did. I think I found one on the ground, like as maybe a 7-year-old or something like that, and I think it actually was a Spider-Man comic. So I got into them, and it was probably a long time before I could actually purchase one myself. But all through probably junior high, I wouldn't say obsessed, but it was definitely a regular thing. And then high school, I felt a little bit embarrassed, like in comics, just because you know how peer pressure is.
Of course.
But after I graduated and I had some pocket money, I went through a big comic phase, and it didn't hurt that we had a great comic book store near to where I was living that I was able to just go get my fix like weekly and just spend all my money on comics for a little while.
I mean, they're like serials, you know, like it's like the series that they have. And, you know, it's like you got to find the issue that you're missing and the whole thing. And I mean, it's really brilliant. I don't know who invented comic books to begin with. I mean, obviously comic strips, but the full on books, which like the movies and stuff. Like I think about that angle. Do you like seeing them come to life via like television? Like I think about all the different iterations of Superman that I know, right? Mm-hmm. So there's everything from, Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Yeah.
There's like Justice League that I think of like Superman. There's the show Smallville that is basically like akin to Superman. And so there's all these different iterations. And then, of course, there's the original comics. What do you like?
So for me, as far as reading comics goes, I was all about the Marvel comics. I loved the X-Men, loved Spider-Man, loved Alpha Flight. That was the first Canadian superhero team, by the way.
Wow.
At least in Marvel. But as far as what was on TV, there really wasn't much in the way of Marvel stuff on TV. It was all like Super Friends, which was Justice League, but it made even, more child friendly. But I love that between the ages of like 3 and 8 or whenever it went off the air. I was all about that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then the Superman movies came out with Christopher Reeve, and I loved those, especially those first 2 ones. And they really kind of set the standard for superhero movies for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of imitators, but most of them were pretty bad. And then the Batman movies came out when I was in high school. Mike Tim Burton is who I was trying to think about.
Yes.
Yeah. So those kind of set the standard then for superhero movies in the late 80s. I like those both a lot. But then they were so successful and Tim Burton left and Michael Keaton left, and you had really cheesy follow-ups with Joel Schumacher and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we've seen the last of superhero movies. And I was still like thinking, boy, it's a shame that they never made, a good Marvel movie before we've killed off superhero films. But then Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies in the early 2000s came out, and those were far better than the Superman movies or the Batman movies or anything that had come before.
That was Tobey Maguire first?
Tobey Maguire, yeah. And those were the first 2 of those, too. Were fantastic. And that really, it kind of showed that, superhero movies can be blockbusters. And the X-Men movies came out, and they were pretty good, not as good as the Spider-Man ones.
Yep.
But, it just showed, hey, you could actually make these with good effects now and reclaim even really big budget. And then, we've gone from there where, like, everything is Marvel now. Seems like
it's crazy.
It's like, it's way more successful than I ever expected.
And there's such universal appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like, it's people of a certain age or it's guys versus, gals. It's everyone. It's anyone. There's, and the influence is everywhere. I was having a conversation with a guy who's a friend of our family, and he's actually now in the WWE. Yeah. And we were talking about, the kind of character that he's going to be. And, he's
as a wrestler.
As a
pro
wrestler. Yes, as a pro. Thank you for clarifying. And, he cited he's a bad guy. That's what his thing is.
You got to play a role.
You got to play a role. Exactly. And it was interesting because the bad guys that he chose were the misunderstood guys that are like, through a series of hard knocks and whatever. And it was just funny having him. It wasn't like heroes of like popular classic fiction. It was like from superhero movies,
right.
And primarily from, in his case, Spider-Man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd say Marvel, if there's one like big criticism of them as far as the MCU goes, it's that their villains are too likable. They spend too much time getting you to have empathy for the villains and explain why they're being so villainous. And sometimes you just want an evil jerk that gets pounded by the hero.
And that's such a good point. And that is, in a way, I think his point. I was like, I get this because in terms of like a career choice,
right.
If you're playing this character, you can have a redemption arc.
Yep.
And so there's more growth opportunity within than what he's doing. But you're right. And that's exactly probably why he cited those particular villains from those movies. So yeah, it's so interesting. Okay, so we've talked about the whole Marvel versus DC. Who do you think would win in a fight?
Oh, in a fight, well, Superman is essentially God. So he's all powerful, and so he wins in anything, and that's the problem. That's why I kind of like Spider-Man a lot more because he deals with real problems. Even though he's got fantastic powers, he's strong and he can leap on buildings and he's got webs and all this stuff. When it comes down to it, like Superman can pretty much defeat anybody, and they had to come up with, something, a weakness for him because it was getting boring. So they came up with kryptonite. But I mean, it's so after the fact. He doesn't really have any real problems, and he doesn't, he's basically unstoppable. So in a fight, Superman all the way.
Yes. I mean, because that's just, as you say, that's how it was constructed, basically. Yeah. All right. Now, what about Alias?
Alias?
Like, they're Alias. Like,
as far as Clark Kent versus Peter Parker? Again, I feel like Superman's alias, Clark Kent, is kind of like a clothes hanger,
Yes.
He doesn't have a lot of personality.
No.
It's interesting that they both worked in the media for newspapers.
Yeah.
Peter Parker was a photographer, and Clark Kent was a mild-mannered reporter.
Thank you for adding the mild-mannered.
And I think those Richard Donner Superman movies actually does a pretty good job of fleshing Clark Kent out a little more and making him a little more interesting than they did in the comics or as far as what I've read. But Peter Parker from the get-go is an interesting guy. I mean, first of all, he starts when he's a teenager.
Right.
So he's got high school problems to deal with, bullies and stuff like that. And then, he's trying to make a living, barely scraping by in New York as a photographer and taking pictures of Spider-Man, who he is Spider-Man, of course, and a boss that hates Spider-Man.
Right.
So it's a rich tapestry of a character there that I think, Mike Ditka and Stan Lee, who created Spider-Man, just were really smart in, giving a superhero a real life, that just made him more relatable.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, and all of the, kind of the movie and literary tropes that you have, and it's like man versus bad guy, man versus nature, man versus, money, man versus woman, like all of those things. And so everybody can find something to relate to.
Yeah.
Which is, just amazing. And I also like that I will say that I consistently have liked with Tobey Maguire and then Andrew Garfield and then Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm.
I like the kind of wink and nod that they have with, that leeway that they're given with the character, and
Right.
that, he's kind of he's a saucy guy.
What I like about Tom Holland's portrayal, and I do have my issues with some of the more modern Tom Holland version of Spider-Man movies, but we don't have enough time on this show, nor the interest in anybody hearing me geek out to that extent. So I'll just say what I do really like about him is that he has an enthusiasm that's infectious. And if you're a teenager and you got these superpowers and you were hanging out with your heroes who are superheroes, people you admire like Iron Man, you would be like just over the moon excited, even when the dark stuff happens, it's still like just wow,
Yep.
I can't believe this crazy world I'm in, as opposed to, I like the Tobey Maguire version of Spider-Man, and I think those movies may even be slightly better. But his portrayal is a little more put upon, a little more
Angsty.
like angsty, yeah. And it's two sides of the same coin, but I think Tom Holland's enthusiasm and
awkwardness
and charisma and awkwardness, really. Is beautiful.
I would agree with that. I like the awkwardness because, again, it's the sort of that teenager, and it reminds me of like, a puppy that has these like big paws, right? And it's like, don't really know where you end. And with all these new powers and these new experiences, it's like he doesn't know where this power ends, and he's like still
Right.
trying it out. And so I agree. And I appreciate the fact that, Tom Holland may be bringing his personal take to it, that he's like, holy cow, look at who I'm acting with. Like, this is amazing. I don't
Yeah.
know how I caught this brass ring. But honestly, that is authentic to the experience of Spider-Man working with these other.
And it's authentic in the comics as well.
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
So I guess we're both Spider-Man fans.
Yeah, we're Spider-Man fans.
But yeah, we both still have appreciation for Superman as well.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of like...
Why not both?
Why not both? Honestly, the world could use both. So there you go. Any other final thoughts on Spider-Man versus Superman?
I think that's all the time we have. And I'm a little embarrassed that I've geeked out as much as I
Are you
have
kidding?
on this episode.
I love it.
But
And I happen to agree with all the things that you said. You're just far more articulate about it. So I'm thrilled that you geeked out because you explained it really well, and I got to say, yes, I agree. All right.
awesome.
So keep listening, and when we come back, of course, we're going to be joined by Vance Dingfelder of Dingfelder's Delicatessen and Nourish Catering. He is our superhero.
That's right. The Lord of the Sandwich.
Exactly.
Sandwich Man.
I love that.
The
We'll be right
hero,
back.
hero.
Oh my gosh, listen to you. Whether it's fly fishing or French pastry, we all have something that makes our tail wag. Involuntary and instinctive, it's sparked by excitement, inspired by purpose, and it speaks to who we are. I'm Stacey Heller of Stacey Connects. I lead clients to the place that makes their tail wag. As a creative director, I bring ideas to life. As a podcast producer, I give ideas a voice. Stacey Connects. It's my superpower. If you want to connect with me, Stacey Heller, go to staceyconnects.com. Don't ask me to talk. Welcome back to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We are getting geared up for this, our favorite section of this show, really, I feel like each week. And, speaking of superheroes, right?
That's right.
I mean, who is the hero of the show?
The hero of the hero, if you will.
Exactly.
AKA the Lord of the Sandwich.
Yeah, listen to you guys.
We've got Vance Dingfelder from Dingfelder's Deli and Nourish Catering on the line for What Are We Eating?
So what are we eating?
What are we going to eat tonight? Okay, it has to be, it's it's National Burger Day, for goodness sake.
That's right.
Okay? So, I mean, how could we not have a burger?
Sounds pretty good.
You know, although we could really play with it, right? Stacy,
Yes.
what's your favorite burger? I mean, do you have a favorite burger in this city?
I'm embarrassed to say that I tend to stay really too local to where I am on the east side to have explored places in Seattle.
You know,
So I'm open to
who's your
suggestions.
favorite? Who's your favorite? Do you have one?
I like the burger at Jack's.
There you go. There you go. Jack's Burger is money. Don't you agree?
I mean,
I'll
yes.
have to try that.
It's money and it's money.
It is not an inexpensive burger.
But worth it.
However, I've never had a bad burger at Jack's Grill.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sold.
Right?
Okay, and I mean, and I've actually gone, and it's a steakhouse. I mean, it really started out as a steakhouse,
Oh, yeah.
right? And we could spend the whole show talking about Jack's, and I'm sure they would love it. Jack's I enjoy Jack's. It's for what it is.
This Jack isn't in a box, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's not.
We gotta crank that crank and let you out of that box, okay?
That's all right.
because that Jack's is something that you should know about. It's a really good go-to place for a good steak and vegetables, and if you're low carb in it, it's great. They have amazing burgers. Their weekend menu is really good for brunch, and they do a great job. And I have a lot of respect for them, and I've always liked them. Their wedge salad is money.
Okay, wait, but they're not the sponsor of this
Right.
show. You're the sponsor of the show.
Suddenly we're doing a
know,
commercial for
listen.
Jack's and not.
No. Listen, Jack's Grill spelled Jaks.
Yep, and there's one
They
in
have 3
Issaquah.
locations.
Yep.
They do a great job, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Now let's get over here to Dingfelder's and Norwich.
Exactly. I'm like,
Hey, okay. So I don't have a burger at Dingfelder's. In fact, I was looking at New York City delis and menus, and they do have how they have the big diner menu, right?
right, right.
If where you can get blintzes at 3:00 in the morning. So at Sarge's they have burgers, but the Pastrami Queen doesn't have burgers, and Katz's doesn't have burgers, and so I'm kind of like going, I don't need a burger. However, I'm very partial to the burger because I grew up in Jan's Ice Cream Parlor, as you know.
Yep.
And the first thing I ever did as a kid was roll hamburgers. And, it's always been a thing for me because we had one of the best burgers around. And it was a smash burger on a griddle, but it wasn't a smash burger. We left them about a half an inch thick, almost 3/4 of an inch thick.
Wow, that's
And
thick.
they were really juicy and really good burgers. So I really I used to make mini burgers, like dollhouse burgers, when I was working at 16 years old. I would make little teeny...
Like sliders.
No.
Smaller than
Tiny,
sliders?
like the size of a quarter.
Okay.
Oh my!
And I would cut the bun, right?
Oh my gosh!
And I'd put little food, right?
That's a trend on like Snapchat and TikTok.
Yes, it is. It is a trend, and I should send you a picture.
Yes.
I did it, 40 years ago.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
I used to make little teeny bacon cheeseburgers. Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, because there would always be a little bit of meat left over, right? And then you could eat chopped meat raw, and they called it chopped meat, not ground beef. And I would take the little pieces that were left over, and I'd make little teeny burgers. Anyway, I digress.
As usual.
Nourish Catering. We have amazing sliders. Our sliders, and we always have since 2013.
Bigger than a quarter, I hope.
They're wonderful.
They are.
mean,
I've had them many times.
And I listen. If I like it, and I'm a pretty good connoisseur on food, it's a really good burger, and people compliment it all the time. And there's certain parameters that make a good burger. You obviously have to have good meat, right? And then it becomes, what are you putting on the burger? Because it's so many different ways. I mean, I like, a bacon cheeseburger with fried onions. That's really my fave. I don't necessarily need pickle on it, although pickle isn't bad. And it's got to have ketchup. And it's got to have Heinz ketchup. Excuse me.
Yes, I agree.
Because, that's just how it is. That's comfort for me. And, at my old man's place, we had a fondue burger, which was American and Swiss. Oh, and by the way, I am an American cheese guy. Yeah, that's right. The American cheese, not the American cheese product or food product. That's the difference that you really have to look out in the store. If it says American cheese, like Land O'Lakes or Boar's Head or Kraft, right? On it, it will say American cheese. That's actually cheese. But if it says cheese product, that one word, product, it's not cheese. They allow for more oil and more water in it, and it's really imitation cheese.
That's like at the movie theater when they say
yeah.
buttery topping or butter.
Yeah, right. There you go. Butter or buttery topping.
Yep.
So Kobe beef. I'm a big fan, right?
Yep.
Of American-style Kobe beef. And the beef that I use is from Snake River Farms. And I make sliders. They're 2-ounce sliders, and I put it on a brioche bun. And they got to be charcoal cooked. Now, if you're making a smash burger, it doesn't have to be charcoal cooked. The seasoning in a burger, at home, I like to put Worcestershire and onion. When I'm making a burger, it's straight burger, salt and pepper. That's it. It's all you need. If it's good meat, you'll taste the meat. Again, American cheese, bacon, and then let's talk. You want to have a whole show about bacon? We could. What's your favorite bacon, Stace? Where do you get it?
Anywhere.
You don't have a favorite bacon?
No, not everybody
bacon.
is a connoisseur like you are. I'm just
not
like
a connoisseur. I'm just a picky guy.
Okay, well, I'm like bacon. Yum.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay, well, you got to get thick bacon. Really good bacon is Beeler's. Beelers. Beelers. And, Daly's is okay. But, there's so many good bacons out there. It's really phenomenal. Hempler's is good, right? Even Hormel Black Label is okay. Okay. It's okay. In a pinch. I like thick bacon. How do you like your bacon cooked?
And he cannot lie.
Or crispy or a little done?
I like it crunchy.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, if I'm going for American bacon, I like it to have a little bit of crispness to it.
Okay, what do you mean American bacon? Where are you going? What, Canadian bacon?
Well, no, I mean, other countries have different cuts
Yes.
that, like Irish bacon, or sometimes known as a rasher, I think is my favorite for like breakfast. But as far as for on top of a burger, like an American crisp bacon would be great.
Bacon
Yeah,
is the way to go. Okay, we need to do a show on bacon. That's all I'm saying.
there's lots more to say than you might think for sure. You're right there, sir.
We can really have fun with bacon. I'm just saying, bacon and bacon grease. Oh, by the way, did I tell you got to take the bacon grease and rub it on the bun, and then you put the bun in the pan? Yes.
Wow.
And then how about you take some half sour? You know what a half sour pickle is?
Yes.
And you kind of dice it up, right? And you put that on there. But the best part about the bacon is the bacon onion jam. I make bacon onion jam, I caramelize the onions, and I take 5 pounds of bacon that has been cut into lardons. You know what lardons are? Small, little, thin pieces.
Okay.
And I cook it down in a big brazier. You do 5 pounds of bacon. You save the fat. You put the onions into that, and then you season the onions and you caramelize the onions. How you caramelize the onions is you let all the water cook out until you're just left with the sugar from the onions. That's why I use Walla Walla Sweets, because there ain't no better onion than a Walla Walla Sweet. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
We just
The
Shots
Vidalia?
fired.
shots
The Vidalia?
fired.
Tears shed.
I mean,
That's like Chicago pizza.
it's onion.
So you caramelize those onions, and you keep caramelizing them till it's literally sweetness. That sweetness and spiciness with the bacon, and then you take the bacon and the bacon that you've cooked, you process it in a food processor, and you mix the two together, and it makes like a jam. It spreads on the bun. And you put it on the bottom bun. We put the burger on it with the cheese, bacon on top of that, the half-sour pickle relish, and a shot of ketchup. And the ketchup has to squeeze out when you put the top on.
So,
That's my burger.
all right.
Sounds amazing.
I have a better idea.
Go to Nurse and order them.
I'm going to go to Nourish and I'm going to order them.
You got to order, 3 dozen minimum.
Well, that's fine.
Like White Castle, buy by the sack.
Perfect.
I like White Castle burgers.
You know what? That's what I'm going to do. And now I want a burger, and now I might have to go to Jack's because
How about a double Whopper with cheese, extra cheese, no pickle, no tomato.
no, I'm not giving Burger King and McDonald's and Jack's all this time. I want my Dingfelder's delicatessen food, and I want my Nourish catering food,
Yeah.
and end of story. So,
Yes.
all right.
You know what they had on the menu at Sarge's? A pastrami burger.
Wow.
That sounds great.
Right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Not so bad.
So, if you need research,
We have a brisket knish.
if you need research and development done, Eric and I are happy to help you out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
we
you
need
know.
to do some QC.
Yeah,
Aren't you guys
exactly.
supposed to do a show here?
Yes.
There's supposed to be a show down here or something.
Yes.
Well, weren't you supposed to bring us food this week?
It wasn't this week.
You said last week.
It was next week, I said.
You said next week last week.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That was this week.
Yeah, well,
That becomes this week.
yeah. It basically it's a never-ending
It was
thing.
a tough week. Why is it a tough week, Stacey? You tell me. Why is it a tough week?
Because you are very booked with very important
We're really
things.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a wedding this weekend.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I may or may not know something about that wedding, but
Is it May? Is it May already? May I?
right? So, all right. Well, as always, it is such a pleasure to chat with you, Vance.
I love you both.
Oh, yeah.
really do.
I mean-
you guys are fun.
Guys, if you are interested in having quality food and an awesome food experience, then definitely go to Dingfelder's Delicatessen. Check out the menu online at dingfelders.com, and also check out all the other things that Vance and his team can do through Nourish Catering. Thanks, Vance.
God bless you guys. Eat well, always.
Always. Gotta get some bacon.
Making bacon. Need the
Exactly.
grease.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I'm starving now.
I
I need that burger, but I also need a Dingfelder sandwich. So I think we got to wrap up the show so I can hit the road and
We totally do.
get some nosh. Since Vance did not bring in the food like he promised.
But we're not bitter.
Not at all. No.
Not at all. All right. So should we figure out what we're doing?
Yeah, let's find out what we're talking about next week.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, here's one I can get behind and am definitely happy to talk about. Top 5 favorite albums.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a really hard one, and that I'm going to have to spend the whole week actually thinking about this, because if I just say top 5 favorite albums off the top of my head, I'll be kicking myself for the week after that I didn't mention,
Right.
a particular favorite.
There's going to have to be the whole like editor's note, like in newspapers.
And,
All right.
And 5 is, wow, that's brutal.
Right? I mean, that's like keeping it really, tight.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
This
cool.
is Desert Island Disc kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, totally. All right. Well, then, so next week we're going to talk about each of our favorite top 5 albums.
And if you want to send us your list of your top 5 favorite albums, we'd love that.
Yeah, we'll take suggestions. Remember, you can let us know that by texting or leaving a voicemail at 475-999-2726. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week.